Now, today is a day with a difference, because for those of us who are not very conversant with Toastmasters, we're going to have another section of Toastmasters which you've never had before, and that is the contest, the club contest. And I'm so happy that you're here so that you can be able to have a feel of what it means for people to prepare and put themselves out there to be able to be counted as worthy to stand before a crowd of people. Before I hand over to the Toastmaster, to the contest of the day, for those of us who are visiting us for the educational organization that trains people in communication and leadership skills, we are spread in over 150 countries globally. As Kwanza Kenya, we provide a very inviting environment for people to come and practice your skills, become a better speaker, have self-confidence, and most important of all, become the leader that you've always desired to be. Right now, I want us to get started with our very next segment, which is a very exciting segment, and that is the contest. And for us to move into the next contest, I'd like to invite our contest chair, Kendi Mwabila, to take us through the next segment of the meeting. And as I do that, I'd like to wish every one of the contestants all the best of them. Karibuni sana. I'd like to join me. Let's join together in welcoming Kendi Mwabila, our contest chair for the day.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I am delighted to be your contest chair for this evening. And because this contest is hybrid, I would like to read out the following TM Toastmasters International Speech Contest for those who are joining us online. Mawia, if you may kindly display the same on PowerPoint. By attending this remote club speech contest, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as the unassociated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in the future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of the said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Now that we have that out of the way, I would like to welcome you all to this exciting, enthralling, and electrifying Kwanza Kenya Evaluation and Humorous Speech Contest. Today we have a group of courageous Toastmasters who will intrigue us with their speeches. The contestants met their eligibility requirements to participate in the contest, and they certified this in writing, and they also picked their order of speaking. To start our event, I would like to invite our SAA, Vivian Ayuma, to brief us on the contest meeting protocols.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. I'll be giving you the housekeeping items as your sergeant at arms this evening. I would like to just request that if you haven't already done so, please switch off your phones or at least put them on silent. For the online participants, we request that you please turn off your camera and mute your microphone so as to minimize distractions during the contests. Attendees will not be admitted to the Zoom meeting or contest room while the contest speech is in progress. If you need to leave the room, for those of us within the room, kindly use the door at the back towards your right, if you're facing me. The washrooms are in the library, first door on the right. If there's any emergency like a fire, just use the same door at the back towards the right and then turn left to the parking area where you'll be advised accordingly. So other than that, I think I will hand over back to the chair.
Thank you, Madam SAA. Now I'd like to call our timer, Eric Mutiso, to give us the timing protocols for this particular contest.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. So the timing protocol, the humorous and evaluation contest are as follows. For the evaluation contest, the speech will take between sorry. The speech will be between 2 to 3 minutes. Please note the following. If a contestant will be disqualified if you speak for less than 1 minute and 30 seconds. After 2 minutes, I will display the green flag and I will remain displaying it for 30 seconds. After 3 minutes, I will display the orange flag and remain displaying it for 30 seconds. After 3 minutes, I will display this for 30 seconds. If you speak for more than 3 minutes and 30 seconds, please note you'll be disqualified for the evaluation contest. Oh, sorry. So this one will be displayed at 2 minutes. 2 minutes, 30 seconds, 3 minutes. For the humorous contest, you have 5 to 7 minutes. After 5 minutes, I will display this. After 6 minutes, I will display this orange. And then after 7 minutes, I will display this. If you speak for more, after 7 minutes, I'll display the red one. If you speak for more than 7 minutes, 30 seconds, please note that I'll give that report and you will be disqualified. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Timer. I would like to indicate that by the time you're starting the humorous contest, we'll have the timer brief us again so that the contestants remember at what time we'll display the different flags. I would now like to invite our Chief Judge, Anthony Kinja, to give us the details on how we're going to run this particular contest, as well as the rules of the evaluation contest.
Good evening, Kwanza night and invited guests. I'm humbled to be your Chief Judge tonight for the Humorous and Evaluation Contest. We are starting with the evaluation contest. I can confirm that we have a team of credible judges, certified, eligible, and have signed the code of conduct. They are online and they are in the room. They are anonymous. We also have a tie-breaking judge on standby. The contestants have been briefed. The judges have been briefed. You have also been briefed again by the timer. And our ballot counters are ready for the contest. I can only wish all the contestants excellence in their delivery. Back to you, Paul.
This, once again, is the evaluation contest, and our order of speakers will be as follows. Our first speaker will be Fidel Owiti. Our second speaker will be Ian Mbugi, followed by our final speaker, who will be Pascalia Mainge. But before we commence, we will start with the test speaker, who will speak for 5 to 7 minutes. Afterwards, all the contestants, the evaluation contestants, will be escorted outside by our Sergeant at Arms. We'll give them 5 minutes as I interview the test speaker, and thereafter they will come back to give us their evaluation. For now, allow me to welcome our test speaker, Our guest speaker this evening is Christine Mugo, and the title of her speech is When the Story Ends. Christine Mugo, When the Story Ends, When the Story Ends, Christine Mugo.
I should probably start this speech with a trigger warning. A trigger warning because I'm about to tackle a topic that is a taboo topic. A topic that many people shy away from because it makes them very uncomfortable. By a show of hands, how many of you have mentioned or discussed with your family where or how they would like to be buried? 0.1%. How many of you believe that when you talk about death, you're calling death? The truth of the matter is, death is inevitable. It takes no bribes, and it's just a matter of when, not if. My therapist always tells me that even if you took a master class or a PhD on death, it will still remain a mystery. A mystery because it is difficult to understand. Therefore, the only thing we can do is to make life a little bit bearable for the people we leave behind. About 2.5 years ago, I lost my dad. And I vividly remember the day that the doctor broke the news to us. And my brother suddenly said, I need to go home. I need to go and show people where dad wants to be buried. That caught me off guard. And I wondered, when did they have this conversation? Knowing my dad, he still believed he was very young, very healthy, and death was nowhere in his book. So this conversation was on a random day, as they walked in the farm, and he probably saw some trees and said, oh, wow, this place has a nice tree. I'd like to be rest here since I love nature. That simple statement saved us as a family a lot of agony. We did not have to make the decision of where to bury him. Because I can tell you for sure, when you lose a loved one, every single decision you have to make feels like a stab on a fresh wound. I thank my father because that was one decision off our plates. Then comes grief and how the society handles the bereaved. I realized that we are never taught what to say or what to do. No one ever told me what I am meant to say or do to a grieving person. I used to love using platitudes because I thought they're comforting until the same were used on me at my point of loss. Someone would tell me, it is well. I will get this great urge to smack them on the face and ask them, it is well with who? Because it was not well with me. I had just lost my first love, the love of my life. And someone would tell me, he's in a better place. And I would want to ask him, which place would be better than being here with the people he loved? No one told me that after the funeral, the world will move on while my life was at a standstill. And I would hate that. No one told me that 2 years down the line, I'd still be crying, wondering when time will heal. No one told me that I would hear his favorite song and I would start sobbing like a mad woman. No one told me that for a very long time I would look around and hate everyone who still had a father. No one taught me these things. My period of loss was a major learning period. And grief taught me many things. It taught me that it is okay to sit down in silence with a grieving person. I learned that grief never really ends. It taught me that platitudes will annoy you. It taught me that I don't have to be strong. It taught me that people will show their true colors and you will be shocked. It also taught me that some relatives will turn to strangers, even enemies. And most important lesson I learned, is that it is okay to talk about these things. I learned my lessons on grief at the worst possible time. While experiencing it, it was overwhelming, almost crippling. How I wish that loss and grief was a compulsory unit taught at every single university or college. How I wish that someone would have mentioned these things to me beforehand. Not that it would have lessened my pain, but it would have made me know that it is okay to not be okay. Death is not to be feared by people who live wisely. So why don't we make the choice to live wisely? Let us put our houses in order. Let us learn to normalize having these hard conversations so that when our story ends, life still goes on. Thank you.
Thank you, our test speaker, Christine Mugo. I will now request that the SAA, you escort the evaluation contestants to the waiting room. They'll take about 5 minutes. Timer, you'll tell us when the 5 minutes is up. In the meantime, I will welcome Christine to the podium so that we get to know her a little bit, right? A round of applause for Christine.
In good shape to buy.
Great. Now, online speakers, I hope you can hear us. Christine, I have a few questions for you because we know Christine as a Toastmaster, but we really don't know Christine the person. So this is our opportunity to just get to know a little bit about her. One of the things that you said when you were filling in your speaker's profile is that you love cooking. So what do you enjoy cooking and what can you make for us if you were to come and feast at your house as Toastmaster?
Oh, wow. Anything and everything. I'd make lasagna, I'd make barbecue. I'll go head on with Gordon Ramsay. Yeah.
I think the next party will not be at Mr. Bruto's house. We are definitely going to Christine's house, correct? Great. So lasagna in Italy to say arrosto in Somalia, you can make all that. Okay, great. The other question is, one of the things that you say inspires you are your kids. From one mother to the other, what about your kids inspires you?
They challenge me. They tell me, you're wrong, or we love this. And it helps me. So they're the people who I know will be honest with me. They are not being paid. And they're not receiving any incentive. And they are not afraid to tell me, even when I am wrong.
How many parents in the house relate to that? Kids will never lie to you. They'll tell you as is, correct? Great.
So we call how to listen. Active listening, not just hearing. And it helps me understand people better.
So those are quite some lessons that I can relate to. But tell me, when did you join Toastmasters? Let's start there.
February.
February. Oh, fantastic. Of course, like every other journey that we have challenges. What are the challenges that you face this far as a person? And how have you overcome them?
Challenge is that
I was thrown into the deep end. Even before I learned how to be a Toastmaster, I was elected as the secretary of the club. Oh, yeah. It was quite overwhelming to begin with because I was learning a new role while I was learning how to be a Toastmaster. But it has also taught me that I have the power to do anything and everything in life. So, when I reflect at my early childhood days, and perhaps some of you can, there was a lot of evangelism going on in the 1990s. Had evangelist Teresia Waribo, Reynard Bonke, and all these pictures that came to preach the gospel. If you are a Toastmaster evangelist, how will you win Toastmasters souls to Toastmasters? Evangelist Christine Mugo. There's no Bible, right? No. Toastmasters manual is your Bible in this case. Okay. Yes.
How? The vice president. Assist the president in
let them know how. And to begin with, I'll probably invite them to listen because the speeches are mostly very informative and very emphatic. And I think it's something that people want. I would also, what I would say, I'm not really an evangelist. I really don't like that. I am more than you. So I really would want people to learn of what they are seeing achieve. So I would work to achieve it so that they learn by seeing what I have.
Right. Evangelist Christine, now baptized you today. A round of applause. Thank you so much. And I think I bring the first contestant. It has been a delight to know Christine. Have you learned something about her, something new? Like the next party is at Christine's, isn't it? Great. Our first evaluation contestant is Fidel Owiti. Fidel, are you ready? Fidel Owiti? Fidel Owiti.
Those who can tell stories can change the world. Christine, contest chair and fellow Toastmasters. That is what Christine did with her powerful story, reminding us to normalize talking about death. Now, what did I love about this glowing speech? Number one, I loved your speech structure. You had an attention-grabbing introduction that asked us this question, that where would you like to be buried when you die? Secondly, you smoothly transitioned to the body, where you gave us a story, a sad story of losing your dad 2.5 years ago. And finally, you concluded powerfully by reminding us to normalize talking about death. I also loved your storytelling skills. It was an emotional story, and the storytelling skills kept us on that emotional roller coaster. And we were always on the edges of our seats, waiting for your next word. I also loved your eye contact. You kept that sweeping eye contact throughout the room, ensuring that no part of this room was left unattended. And what that did is that it ensured that there was that intimate connection between you and the audience. But there's more you can do to grow this glowing speech. The first thing I would recommend is your use of vocal variety and modulation. In as much as it was an emotional roller coaster, I felt that your voice was monotonous, all the same tone and pace all throughout the speech. I would encourage you to next time modulate your voice. For example, when you said, grief taught me many things, I expected you to lower your voice to emphasize that and say, grief taught me many things. When you concluded by saying it is okay to talk about death, I also felt you ought to lower your voice to emphasize that. The next thing I would like you to work on is your emotional touch. This was an emotional story, and you had a lot of time, a lot of opportunity to use emotionally evoking words to remind us and to engage us in this story. In a nutshell, your structure, powerful. Your eye contact, purposeful. Your storytelling, polished. Simply refine your vocal variety and emotional touch. Let me tell you, Christine, not even the sharpest knife is going to clip your public speaking wings. Keep the story flying. Contest chair.
Now, I will ask you not to clap after the speakers. We'll clap at the very end. We'll now have a moment of silence, 1 minute to be precise, for our judges to mark their ballots. Thank you for that 1 minute of silence. We'll now have our second contestant. Our second contestant, Ian Boogie, is in the room. Ian, are you ready? Ian Boogie? Ian Boogie.
Thank you. Good evening. Apologies first. I arrived late, so I missed quite a bunch of the speech. However, when I walked in, what's the first thing that I noticed? I noticed that the whole crowd, everybody in the crowd, was glued towards what Christine was talking about. And as a result, I just sat there and looked at everybody, and I also started getting glued. What am I saying in essence? Christine is this speaker that in the way that she presents herself, she will get the whole audience on a chokehold so that everybody wants to know, what's that story about? What's the next part? What's happening? And everybody was just in a relaxed mood, just looking at her and listening to the words that are emanating from her. The second thing I liked about her speech was the use of good grammar. And she populated her speech with a lot of good grammar as she spoke. And so you saw a speaker, not just but a basic speaker, but a speaker who has a good command of the language. And it's good that she has that, given that there's a king and the queen are in town this week. Then your use of your voice. And this is the bit that I absolutely loved the best, that you did not shout. You were calm, relaxed. You used your poses, your pitch, such that what you needed to communicate to the audience was heard, but not just heard, they listened and they heard you completely, that it was internalized within you. And so as I sat back there, I could feel her emotion. I could feel her story, and not just what she's saying, but the emotions that are flowing in within the storytelling. Your eye contact was amazing. You scanned the room, and then at times when you're scanning the room, you posed down. And when you posed down, your voice went down. And so it was more dramatic. And so it felt like there were soundtracks as you're making your speech, which is something else I loved. And in the end, this may have been a sad story, but you did not concentrate on the sadness. You rallied us and gave a powerful ending, asking us as individuals, what are you going to do? Posing the questions of like, Will you spend time with your loved ones, or will you just listen to my story and go home? And I like that powerful ending, because even as you took us home with something to go think about. What do I think you could work on? Although I got in a bit late, I would like if you used the stage a little bit more. You walked a bit and used it a bit better. I would love it. Now they say that the best speeches doesn't matter about the speaker. The best speaker is not about the speeches that they come with or the content of the language. Is this, can you be able to relate with your audience? Can you draw them in, and can you hold them in that stance? You held us here, and that was brilliant. And so I enjoyed this speech, and thank you very much. Over to you.
We're now going to have 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballot. Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Our next speaker is Pascalia Mainge. Pascalia? Pascalia, are you ready? Pascalia Mainge? Pascalia Mainge. Great speakers have a sense of purpose. Ladies and gentlemen, Christine showed us without a shadow of a doubt that she indeed is a great speaker. I enjoyed her speak in its entirety. Right now, I want to bring up 3 things which I took from her speech. First, I will talk about the highlights, 2 highlights that I drew from her speech. Secondly, I will bring up 3 areas where I felt that she could improve and take her great speech to a phenomenal speech. And thirdly, I'll be wrapping it up with a summation and a conclusion. First of all, the topic, when the story ends. Ladies and gentlemen, that was a mysterious, captivating topic. It drew a kind of an aura of suspense, and we were all left wondering, what is it all about when the story ends? And we were captivated and glued to her talk. Secondly, I thoroughly enjoyed her key message in her speech. Yes, she talked about some of the relevant questions that we don't really talk about. And this was very relevant, resourceful. And it told me one thing. Christine had researched, she had prepared, and she had practiced for this speech. Why? So that she could give us a lot of value on the things that we rarely talk about. So Christine, which areas could you be able to take your speech to the next level? One of the areas that I found that you need to work on is the power of dialogue. You had a character in your conversation, and I thought it would have been prudent for you to be able, when you're talking about another character, take up the persona of that character and use your voice modulation to be able to talk about what that character was talking about, to bring a mixture of intrigue and to be able to add some drama into your conversation. Secondly, your body language. Christine, I felt that you'd have used more hand gestures, not just outwardly, but very calculated hand gestures. You would have gone around the room and looked at your audience to help them know that you could connect with them. And thirdly,
I felt that your conclusion was a bit abrupt after such a beautiful message. It ended a bit abrupt. I would have wanted you in your next speech to try and inculcate a call to action, an oomph of a meaning, so that your people can leave this place knowing that there is a message that we got from that conversation. So in a nutshell, I'd really want you to, I enjoyed your choice of a topic, and I really enjoyed the key message in your conversation. If you work on your body language, you work on the power of a dialogue, I believe with all my heart that, Christine, you will take your next speech to the next level, and there's no telling where you're going to go next. Back to you, Madam Contest Chair.
Now we'll take 2 minutes of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballot and tally their entire ballot. Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Now, ladies and gentlemen, wasn't that phenomenal? With a rousing applause, please help me applaud the contestants for their courage and amazing deliveries this evening. I'm going to request the ballot contestants to do what they want us to do, take the ballots from the judges and be able to count the results. As I go on, I will welcome back the contestants and let's get to know them a little bit. So Fidel Oiti, Pascalia Mainge, Ian Boogie, welcome to the podium. I want to get to know you because you are affiliated, put on the serious value. So I want to start with the young Toastmaster among the young. Tell us, what made you join Toastmasters?
Made me join Toastmasters. I used to debate a lot in high school. And after high school, I was looking for a place to further hone my public speaking skills. Actually, I was looking for a school, but I didn't find a school. And the school I went to, I was told that there's no better place to learn public speaking. That's how I found myself. It's been an enriching time. Known by leaps and bounds. Here we are today.
Yeah.
You're also new. You haven't finished my year. So how do you define courage in the context of the taking place, taking part in the fight?
I'll draw it back to my feeling was just I was a stammerer. My feeling was to beat the stammer. And so Toastmasters for me is that out of your comfort zone. So whenever I walk in there, the place that I come in, I can conquer him. So when you get to the contest comes, that's what you do. Whether you fail, whether you go down, you just do it. And so that's what I try.
I like that. Hearing them on. So, you feel comfortable and like what do you encourage?
Listen, the best guys, the guys that we look up to in sports, the Michael Jordans, everyone that you speak of, whether Federer, Serena, anyone that you speak of, they always say you have to fail. At some point, you have to fall down. So if you're afraid to fall, you'll never get that which is yours. And so deep within us, we are kings and queens, if I can say so. And so it's upon us, if you feel like you want to start something, to try something, just come, try it out. The worst that you'll do is just fail. And then what? You'll go back, you'll come, you'll pick yourself up again, and then you'll try again. So that's what we do here. Like tomorrow, another day, I'll be so eloquent after hearing you and I'll use Tony Robbins. Tony Robbins is the same. Now that's my success.
Step out as a president. I have a very Toastmaster. Which Toastmaster is fun? Consecutive or actual of Toastmasters for talent? I would say that's really these two young guys. They're really inspired with me. They've barely been there for one. Look at what they're doing. They're moving my from. But the person that really inspires me, former president, immediate past president, district director. You will find justice everywhere. He doesn't tire. He's always from one level to the other. He's always trying to improve himself. So look at him and we are thinking, he's already changing, but not him. He's thinking, I need to conquer. I need to do this here. You'll find him all over. And I think that's what he inspires. Okay? So I'm proud of
We have our results. We'll still give you time. Okay. So then, as we wait, now that I've made the contestants sit before we actually confirm that the results have actually been summarized, let me throw this question to a Toastmaster that I've known for quite some time. And I also want to pose the same question that I posed to Pascalia. Veronica Siongombe, who inspires you in the Toastmasters fraternity? Didn't see that coming. Oh, please come so that the online team can also hear you. Yeah, okay.
So who inspires me in Toastmasters? It has to be Kenny's husband, Benson. I met Ben 20. And when I met him, he made me do a speech a week after I joined Toastmasters. It was crazy. And like, yeah, I stammer. I still stammer. But I've learned how to go about the entire process. So Ben, where is he? Ben is a very good speaker. He's my former mentor, so please say hi. He still inspires me a lot. Okay.
So we met him the same year. Just throwing it out there. We met him the same year. Well, can we continue, Chief Judge? All right. So the next thing we're going to go to is our humorous contest. Our contestants, I hope you're ready. Anthony Kinja, our Chief Judge, says he is still not ready. So we'll keep the questions going until they give us a go ahead. We understand that we have different roles in Toastmasters, correct? In any given Toastmaster meeting, we have the most engaging roles. So I'll pose this question again to another Toastmaster. What is your best role in any given meeting? Helen Rintari. You didn't see it coming, did you? I think we need to now go more.
TMOD would be my best role. The reason is I get to be the boss of all of you. And I get to ask the questions. I get to decide to harass who, like Candy, you're not ever harassing me. And I get to motivate my team and to learn from my team even before you meet that team. So I must say, TM would do the best role any day. And I have taken a few of them. Thank you.
We're still on the roles, and I'd like to pose the other question. Out of all the roles that we constantly see people taking up in any meeting, what role has inspired you or made you grow phenomenally? I am looking for Toastmasters that are not contested. CTM Guru Ashira. Let's keep stopping until you get here.
A lot of times I find that when I'm making a speech, I'm addressing myself. What I think is good for me, I think is good for everybody else. But that is not the case. And I'm not supposed to be speaking to myself, I'm supposed to be speaking to the audience. Now, understanding, addressing you and yourself and making yourself relevant to the audience is the breakfast of feedback. So for me, the most exciting, the most beneficial role is the evaluation role, because it forces you to address yourself, what Toastmasters is about, and to positively give a feedback to the role taker on how to be a better Toastmaster because being a better Toastmaster makes you achieve the goals, most of the goals that made you come here.
Now let us get to hear from someone online. Chief Judge, I'll wait for you to give me the heads up when you are ready. Milka Njunge, you have been a Toastmaster since I joined Kwanza. You were there before us, and I'll pose this question to you. What role do you find most challenging in any Toastmaster meeting? Milka Njunge, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Please proceed.
Thank you. Which role do I find most challenging? I'd say evaluation. The reason being, when you're evaluating someone, you have to be kind to them. You have to be cognizant of the fact that you need them to continue making their speeches. So you have to come up with words that make them want to listen to you, want them to improve. And therefore, it has taught me not just to go direct to the improvements. And it has taught me that I also have to first tell them what they've done well, and before I go to where to improve. Therefore, that has been one of my most challenging roles. And I hope that I'll get better with it. I know for now I've not renewed my membership, but that is one area that I would love to be good at, because you don't just do it in Toastmasters. You use that in so many other areas of life where you need to encourage people to be better in whatever they are doing in life. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Milka. Isn't it, let's say, a paradox that DTM Guru enjoys evaluating while Milka finds it the most challenging role? So Milka, I'll tell you, for you to grow, look for DTM Guru Ashira to guide you on how to evaluate better. Now, ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the second session of this meeting, or speech contest for that matter, and we're going to delve into the humorous contest. And we'll follow the same procedure as the evaluation contest. Because this is a hybrid contest, I would like to read out the following Toastmasters International Speech Contest statement, and I will request Maria Gishuhi to display it on the screen. By attending this remote club speech contest, you agree to the privacy policy of Toastmasters International, as well as an associated remote hosting service. Some of your personal information, such as name, image, and any shared messages, may be shared with other meeting participants and will be recorded by Toastmasters International, who may use the recording in future as it sees fit. Your remote attendance hereby discharges Toastmasters International from all claims, demands, rights, promises, damages, and liabilities arising out of or in connection with the use or distribution of said video recordings, including but not limited to any claims for invasion of privacy, appropriation of likeness, or defamation. Once again, welcome to the Humorous Speech Contest, and I hope you will be able to laugh as you encourage our speakers. Please put a ha when you feel something is funny, to just give them the psych and the energy to just deliver their speeches as required. Today we have a group of 5 phenomenal speakers who will entertain us with their riveting speeches. And I have to say that the contestants met their eligibility requirements to participate in the contest and certified this in writing, and they also picked their order of speaking. To start our event, I would like to welcome the SAA to give us the protocol. Vivian Ayima.
Good evening once again. I will give a few housekeeping items. As I said, I hope all of you have switched off your phones. If not, at least put them on silent so that we don't distract the meeting when it's going on. If you need to exit, kindly do so when the contestants are not speaking, and do so quietly. The doors are behind you on the right. If you need to use the washroom, it's within the library. For the ladies, it's the first door on the right when you enter the library, second door on the right when you enter the library for the gentlemen. For the online speakers, please keep your videos and your microphones on mute, also not to disrupt the contestant speakers. And we will have, once the contestant speakers are speaking, there'll be no interruptions during that session. Thank you.
Thank you, Madam. I'll now welcome the timer to give us a protocol for this specific contest. Eric Mutiso.
Good evening, Toastmasters and guests. For this session, contestants will have between 5 to 7 minutes. 5 minutes, I'll display the green flag. 6 minutes, amber. 7 minutes, I'll display the red flag. After each contestant, we'll allow 1 minute of silence. After all the contestants have spoken, we'll have 2 minutes for the judges to score. Thank you.
Now I'm going to welcome our Chief Judge, Anthony Kinja, to give us the guidelines as well as the criteria for the humorous speech contest.
Good evening once again, Toastmasters and guests. Onset to the humorous contest. I have a team of judges, including the tie-breaking judge, who have been briefed. They are eligible, they are competent, and great Toastmasters ready to be the judge. They have gone through the judging criteria. So, Madam Contest Chair, I'll not brief the audience on the same. The judges have been briefed, and I believe also the contestants have gone through the script. We also have a set of ballot counters ready to assist the judges and myself in make sure we have the final tally. And the timer has just briefed you. Mine is to wish the contestants excellence. Back to you, contestants.
Once again, this is a humorous speech contest, and our order of speakers will be as follows for the sake of the judges. Our first speaker will be Joy Murugi, followed by Edwin Kaduki, Ian Mugi, Fidel Owiti, and Yahya Ibrahim. I repeat, Joy Murugi, Ian Mugi, Fidel Owiti, Yahya Ibrahim. Joy Murugi, Edwin Kaduki, Ian Mugi, Fidel Owiti, and Yahya Ibrahim. All right, I skipped someone. My apologies. The contestants are allowed to remain in the contest room. Before we commence SAA, I will request you to confirm that all contestants are here. Fantastic. As Alia mentioned, there'll be 1 minute of silence after every speaker has spoken. Now I'd like to request the SAA not to let anyone in the meeting room rather. Contestants, I hope you're ready. We're going to first start with our first contestant, Joy Murugi. Joy Murugi, are you ready? Ladies and gentlemen, Joy Murugi, Habibi, come to Dubai. Habibi, come to Dubai, Joy Murugi. I don't know what's funnier, that somebody believed that I have a sense of humor, or that I believed them and I'm here standing attempting to make you laugh. I will tell you the tale of Dubai, a tale about Arab money from the lens of a Kenyan girl. A few days ago, I was thinking about what will I say? What has intrigued me? What has made me laugh and wonder? And this city ticks that box. And I will be carrying you through the journey of the persona of what this country embodies with 3 traits. And I will tell them to you slowly in a gentle journey that will carry you through events. Now, the first trait that I gave the persona Dubai is pompous and glamorous. I don't know if you have ever walked into a shopping mall and the attendants are smiling at you. They're looking at you graciously with lots of awe and wonder. Now, if you think that the red carpet and military parade that Camilla and Charles were late for today is something to speak about, go to a shopping mall in Dubai. The way those people treat you, you would think they have laid for you an imaginary red carpet. And as any Kenyan would know, you're very suspicious of strangers who are too kind to you. And this one day, I had decided to walk into this shop, window shopping, wasn't sure. And this attendant was smiling at me. But my suspicions of her acute kindness were quickly revealed when she informed me that the handbag she was selling was $3,000 US. I looked at her, I turned towards the door and stealthily ran out. Later on, I will go to the mirror and look at myself to just determine what is it that she saw in me. What about how I look informed her that I could possibly afford such a bag? Did she know I was from a country with a depreciating currency? Did she also know how many plots of land those were where I came from? The pomp and the glamour were not it. Just when I thought I had been mesmerized, I experienced fast and furious personal Dubai. Now, I don't know if you have ever wondered why somebody would buy a Ferrari and put a third-party insurance sticker on it. But I was well informed as I observed the happenstances of this city. Tonight we had gone out and you could see these cars that I knew for a fact I would only be able to drive if perhaps I worked another 200 years. Now, the kind of affinity towards the gentlemen driving these cars that ladies seem to have gave me an insight as to why I would buy, or a guy would buy a Ferrari and then put a third party insurance on it. The status symbol in itself, such a powerful. Now, while we are experiencing the pomp and glamour and we are still on this fast and furious mission, let me carry you to the desert, the nice winding sand dunes of Dubai, Arab Emirates. I saw the picture in my head clearly. The recollection is such that we're in the back seat of this TX vehicle. There's a driver and there's a mother with her baby here. I am a passenger at the back. Now, I'm not somebody who likes adrenaline, and I do not enjoy the experiences of speed or anything that will cause fear to course through my veins. As I was seated here looking at this baby, looking at myself, wondering, okay, if I cry, the baby will cry. We don't want the baby to cry, so I will enjoy this desert safari without it. So I listened to the roaring of the engine and the movement of that car in the desert, clutching onto my imaginary pals, looking at the baby. We are both looking at each other, trying not to cry. The baby wasn't crying. And we enjoyed that desert safari surprisingly. That is the fast and furious Dubai. The third and most interesting part that I gave the persona of Dubai is to dream the impossible and make it possible. I don't know if any of you know that Kenyan proverb about men and the desert. We don't seem to know that proverb. Now, the pundits that are Kenyans on Twitter say that men will live in the desert without water. But not the Sheikh of Dubai. The Sheikh of Dubai not only envisioned a city that would transform from a desert, but also created an ultra-organized state. So organized that if you jump the green light, you will pay an equivalent of 400,000 Kenya shillings, automatically charged to you. Now imagine if that came here. The traffic police in this hand and that hand, what would that do to us? And it made me imagine about the now, not only has he built this wonderful organized city, but he has two other trophies that he shows the world. The first one is the tallest building in the world. The second one is a water park. I have a story about the water park because I have an irrational fear of water, but the impossible, dreaming the impossible Dubai made me believe I could stand on top of a water slide facing the red Arabian Sea and slide to the bottom. Notwithstanding, guys, I nearly died. But I came out of there having dreamt the impossible. And I call you to dream the impossible. That trip to Dubai made me believe anything is possible, including an attempt to stand here and make this audience laugh. Earlier mentioned, I would request that you do not the culture, that you do not applaud until the very end. I kindly request that you take 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark. Thank you, Mr. Timer. We'll now have our second contestant, Edwin Kaduki. Edwin Kaduki, are you ready? Edwin Kaduki, experience is the best teacher. Experience is the best teacher. Edwin Kaduki.
I love Swahili sayings because they hit the nail right on the head. For example, there's this saying, asiyefunzwa na mamaye, hufunzwa na ulimwengu. A mother's teaching is loving. She wants the best for you. Experience, on the other hand, is harsh, brutal, but very effective. If experience is the best teacher, then I want to suggest that Nairobi is the best classroom. I've been in this classroom a few times, so believe me, I know. For example, my mother taught me that money does not grow on trees. It seems that this lesson did not land very well for me. And so it was hammered properly on the streets of Nairobi when I got conned because this lesson did not sink in well. I've learned many lessons from experience. And one that really gave me serious character development had to do with old cars. There's something about driving for a 20-something-year-old young man that is just so enticing and attractive. That desire within me to be part of the traffic problem in Nairobi was burning. And so one day, you can imagine my excitement when this old friend told me that I could have his car for about a year as he worked outside the country. This was an exciting moment for me, an opportunity. All I needed to do was take care of this car while it was in my possession. And so I said, yes, I'll take care of this car. Let me tell you about the car. It was a VW Beetle, 1960-something model. Not very new, if I may say so.
it was a bit different from what you're used to. For example, the engine was at the back and the boot was at the front. The car was a manual car, and the pedals were not made for the faint-hearted. So you can imagine me coming up Valley Road and finding traffic backed up. That was enough to give me a leg workout for the years. Old cars also break down all the time. And this is something that I learned very painfully. And this car was no different. The fuel gauge was broken. And so for me to know whether I needed to refuel, I had to physically check the fuel tank. I found a way to peep into that fuel tank to check the level of the fuel. The electrical system was problematic. One side effect of this was that the car battery would overcharge all the time. The thing about car batteries when they overcharge is that it gives out the smell of rotten eggs. Remember, this car was fearfully and wonderfully made. And so the car battery was inside the car, under the back seat. And so when the car was overcharging, it was critical for me to explain this to any passengers, lest they make any assumptions about where this smell was coming. This car also tested my faith, or should I say built my faith, because it was never guaranteed to start. Whenever I put that car in the ignition, prayers were going up. And the prayers can be answered yes, maybe, or no. I got no very many times. My friends, my dear friends, also came up with a song just for this car. Gari ndogo, imekwama mchangani. Because of this phenomenon. My dad advised me, carry 3 things in that car: a torch, a spanner, and a nyahunyo, because you never know where it will stone, just to be safe. Mechanics, on the other hand, I was their best friend. I also say mechanics because I tried out so many of them, looking for the one that would sort out my problems once and for all. And one thing that experience taught me about mechanics is the roadside ones, the roadside mechanics are to be avoided at all costs. Finally, wisdom visited me, and I decided that this car was not giving me any joy. I finally left it in the parking on the day that it stalled on me and left it there. When the owner came back to Nairobi, I shipped it off to him and never laid eyes on that car again. I had learned my lesson. Me and old cars are done. I would only see them at Concours d'Elegance. And that was that, or so I thought. A few years later, I came into some money. I could finally afford to buy myself my own car. So I did some research, and I was told that you can never go wrong with a Toyota. So I shopped around for a Toyota and found one that fit my budget. It was a bit old, but you know, age is relative depending on your position. So I bought the car. My mother never liked repeating herself. And when experience repeats itself, you're in for it. And so this old new, or should I say, new old Toyota repeated the lesson for me. And from that day, old cars and me concourse. Madam Countess.
Thank you so much, Edwin. We will now observe 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark.
Thank you very much, our timer. Now we're going to go to contestant number 3. Ian Boogie, are you ready? Ian Boogie, clowning, Ian Boogie.
Contest chair, judges, contestants, Toastmasters and guests, good evening. Are you familiar with the term clown? The dictionary refers as clowning as a slang term that is used to refer silly or playful behavior. Locally, we use the term to describe circumstances or scenarios that we do some stupid thing in the name of love, or more often than not, some silly infatuation. I was a young man just got into university. This was an exciting time for me. There was no parents, no need to have uniform, and the freedom, if I'm being honest with you guys, was both exciting and overwhelming. I looked for any and every opportunity that I could find anyone willing to notice my new generation identification card. I was an important man in the society, a big man, the star of the show. At least I thought so in my head. Every good movie needs a hero, a villain, but more importantly, a prize for which the plot orbits. And the prize usually comes in form of a beautiful yet unattainable lady for whom both the villain and the hero chase. Now, in this movie of mine where I was the outright hero, right, I needed myself a prize, but not just any prize, an expensive prize. Now, let me tell you, the universe, it always answers when you ask. She was jaw-droppingly gorgeous. She was sexy, beautiful, and had those curves that only African women seem to have. It is said that something must kill a man. My choice of poison is thighs. And she had the most potent of thighs. I was tempted to think that they came with that dash of that Kamba magic. Yes, she was Kamba, hailing from the slopes of Moore Hills in Machakos County. I, on the other hand, having grown up in and around Nairobi and central Kenya, had the opportunity of now dining with an exotic babe. After weeks of eyeing her, fantasizing and plotting how I'd approach her, we managed to find ourselves in similar friend groups. I approached her, made an acquaintance of her. I wanted to be assertive, yet mysterious. And so those first instances, I did not go full throttle. But at this point of the story, I need to introduce you to the third component, the villain of the story. She had a boyfriend. But not just any boyfriend, an older boyfriend who had some coins in his wallet. Nothing worthwhile in this life. Fortune favors the brave, and luck was smiling brightly on the humble servant. As I managed to get a hold of her digits, her contact, I knew from then on, this is over. At the time, I was what we would consider a virtuoso of some sorts in the art of poetry. I was Shakespeare incarnated with a dash of humor. In the years preceding this moment, my best friend G and I ran a thriving business in high school, whereby, blessed with words and handwriting, I wrote letters to and from potential soulmates, while G blessed them artistically with some fantastic calligraphy. This business will go on until our poetry grows. Back to our story. Armed with the ammunition, I began my mission, sending dedicated and precise texts full of intent. At first, she was hard to get. And with every roadblock that I received, the desire within me just grew. In hindsight, I should have probably heeded the red flags. But Mama did not raise any quitter. Sometime later, I would lose a bet to a little friend of ours. And as a result, I needed to deliver some boiled chicken from our chicken farm. My ego was bruised, but this was nothing. It was an easy bet to lose. On the day of the delivery of the bed, the mutual friend was not around. And so they asked if I could make delivery of the chicken, where? To our friend, my future soulmate. The gods of luck were smiling again on your boy. Confidently, I made my way there, made delivery, and then they asked me to stay a little longer as they'd been given permission to prepare a meal, chickens. In this room, there were some friends of mine, some guys I did not know, and standing out, the villain, boyfriend. Gentlemen in the room, have you ever marinated or bought food only for another person to come and eat the fruits of your hard labor? Such was the feeling as I sat there, watching this man devour the chicken that I had brought. The same man that stood between me and my coveted prize. This script could not have written itself any more dramatically. Because the friends who knew I had a desire for this lady, after having finished eating the meal, mannerlessly turned on me and started making fun of my naivety, which they still do to this day when we meet. In the 3 years of my infatuation, yes, 3, all I have to show for it is a steamy make-out session in one of the dingy Nairobi nightclubs. She's now an accomplished human being in this country, doing some amazing things in this country. And randomly, from time to time, a picture pops up on my Instagram feed. Let's look at it, smile, and reminisce on my clowning days. So ladies and gentlemen, today, I have a question to pose to you. Tell me, how have you clowned? Thank you. Over to you.
Thank you, Ian. We'll now take 1 minute of silence for the judges to mark their ballots. Thank you very much. Our timer will now go to the 4th contestant, Fidel Owiti. Fidel, are you ready? Fidel Owiti, let them say, Fidel Owiti.
By show of hands, let me see those of you who have been arrested by the police. Thank you. Contest chair, fellow Toastmasters, and anyone who has been caught trying to take a selfie for the 5th time, trying to find the perfect angle. Today I stand before you as a reformed, validation-seeking agent. Growing up as a young man, I had 3 goals. The first goal, to be a Toastmaster by 22. The second goal, to become a civil engineer by 23. The 4th goal, to be happily married by 23. Today, I'm a Toastmaster, I'm a civil engineer, and I'm happily married. Happily married to Toastmasters International. The closest I've come to marriage is writing a manuscript about marriage. And if you ask my experience about marriage, 0. But this journey to find my 3rd dream led me to a journey of looking for my Princess Charming. And I met Anne. Anne was a stunning lady during the day and a sight to behold at night. In fact, convincing Anne to be my girlfriend would be the most impressive achievement. If I had a CV, it would be number 1 in my CV. I gathered the courage, asked Anne for a date. On the day of the date, my heart pounding like a thunderbolt, my hands flooded in sweat, my knees shaking. I looked at her. She looked at me. I loved her. And she loved me not. Anne gave me the first test. Fidel, let us go to your house. Now, as you guessed it, my house is a nice place. In fact, it is a one-stop shop. You can sit in the bedroom, cook in the kitchen, and eat in the sitting room without moving a single step. As you guessed, the first test, I failed with flying colors. But Anne gave me the benefit of doubt. The second test. Fidel, I want a TDH, tall, dark, handsome man. And looking at you, your height above sea level is too low. You are too dark to see the light of the day. She didn't stop there. In fact, of all the 3 men I've dated, you're the only woman. For your face, I'm sorry, I'll make an exemption. Heart. I was left discouraged, devastated, and dejected. But she didn't stop there. Fidel's words are too sweet, but they are good as a lullaby song. Our relationship lasted for a long time. Exactly 13 days. But being a guy that I was who doesn't give up, who is a go-getter, who seeks validation and approval from other people, I did not quit. I tried to ask for another date. She refused. I tried the second time. She refused. I tried the third time not to throw in the towel, to make her throw in the towel. Ladies and gentlemen, do you know what happened? She rejected me. Today, Anne is a public speaker. In fact, she has obeyed the rule of 3. She has 3 beautiful children and is happily married. While myself, I'm hopelessly single. Now, marrying Anne today is a mission impossible. But this story taught me an important lesson of my life. To be comfortable in my own skin, to not seek external validation from other people, and to not seek approval from other people, because I am complete as I am. Many of us today are shackled, are handcuffed by the police of seeking approval and validation from other people. Instead of saying, let them say, we say, what will they say? What will they say of my speech? What will they say of my face? What will they say of my dress, of my body? What will they say? Today, I urge you, I challenge you, to instead of asking that dangerous, crippling, and limiting question, break free and say, let them say. Let them say that you are unapologetically you, hilariously you, and personally you. Let them say. Let them say. On this chair.
Thank you, Fidel. We'll now have 1 minute of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballot. Thank you very much, Mr. Timer. Our fifth contestant for this evening is Yahya Ibrahim, and he will be delivering his speech online. Yahya, confirm you can hear me. Turn on your video and take your speaking position.
And it seems now it's saying the host has stopped the video.
You can kindly spotlight him. Our host can spotlight him. This video is not on. Are you able to turn on your video?
Yes, but it's saying you cannot start your video because the host has stopped it.
Really, let me 1 minute.
Okay.
50 seconds
It's
to
coming.
resolve it. All
It's
right.
coming now.
Take your
It's my
speaking.
position.
Yahya, are
Okay.
you ready?
Yes.
Right. Yahya Ibrahim, Cultural Dynamics, a Humorous Look. Cultural Dynamics, a Humorous Look, Yahya Ibrahim.
Thank you very much. Good evening to all Toastmasters. Tonight I'm joining you online from Juba, South Sudan. I will be talking to you about the cultural dynamics from humorous look. As you know, culture is something we learn communities from or other people. So what we learn from our experiences also is part of the cultural dynamics. And learning cultural dynamics than laughing at them. Now, I know what you are thinking. You are thinking cultural dynamics. However, cultural dynamics is not a laughing matter. It is something we need to appreciate and learn from others as we interact with them. Tonight, I want to share with you some experiences I encountered during my time. One of them is, before I start with my experiences, I want to ask questions. Have you ever noticed or observed different cultures? So one of the findings, I was working with my colleague from Kenya. We were working in northeastern province. It was in 2007. We were late in the office. Then as we were leaving the office, he offered me to join lunch. Then I said, thank you. Then we started walking towards the gate. And as we approached the gate, I said, I'm leaving now. Then he just stood and stared at me. Yahya, he called me, what happened? you have accepted my offer to join me the lunch today. I could not understand what he meant in the first place. Then I recalled my response was the opposite what is in our culture. In Somalia, and when someone offers you a lunch, then you accept, you say like, thank you. It means it is like, okay, I'm fine. In let us say in Kenya context, communities. Then I said, I didn't meant, but I explained to him. So from there, I noticed sometimes if you translate what is in your culture to other languages, for example, to English or to Swahili, then it may mean the reverse. Then that was not the only encounter I experienced. In 2010, I joined a group of Kenyans from Nairobi to up to Kakamega constituency. And that time we were going for 16 days of activism, where I joined them to represent from communities from Northeastern Kenya, so that I also learned from other communities. So we were a group of 20. Then we had a pass. So from one town to another town, we used to do some exhibition of dance, songs, or drama. So there was a song along the towns, and so that we attract the people around that village or that town, so that when we have enough crowd, then we form a cycle, then to do the drama, so that convey the message about the importance of coexistence and so that people understand the value of peace, or issues around gender-based violence. However, then when we were in the process of attracting the crowd, then people were dancing. The team, they formed a cycle, they were dancing. Then a fine lady, she had a very good dance. And then she turned to me to step in and dance. But me, coming from a community where men never dance, also, or dancing is a taboo for men, me, I could not dance. However, I had to respond to the call. Instead of dancing, I just jumped, because that's the only thing I could do at that moment, because I had to respond. Then I learned now there are so many things or different ways we can do or respond to different, because you have to appreciate the cultures. Then I had another experience where I interacted with a lady from Norway. She said she went to Colombia for an assignment. Then she said she went to a family, she was posted to a family. Then the family, they brought food. In her culture, when you are given food, you have to appreciate and finish all the food you are provided. So she got surprised the plenty of food she was provided, and she could not finish. But however, in her culture, she said she tried to finish, because in their culture is like you have to appreciate the food. However, in Colombia, then she said she observed the women around, they just like now started gossiping. She sensed there's something wrong. Then after some time, she learned the language, the Colombian language. Now she discovered in Colombia, it is the reverse. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Yahe. We'll now take 2 minutes of silence to allow the judges to mark their ballots. Thank you very much, our timer. I believe the judges have marked their ballots and they have performed their final tally. Ladies and gentlemen, we have come to the end of our humorous speech contest. By a show of hands, how enthralled, actually, were you enthralled? Oh my goodness, there's no energy here. Come on. It was so difficult to stop you from clapping your hands. So I believe you can actually clap better and appreciate every person who came here and delivered as scintillating. Come on, let's go. As we allow the chief judge team to count the ballots, I will welcome the speakers back to the stage to get to know them a tad bit. They were funny, weren't they? Okay, let's get to know on a scale of 1 to 10, how funny did they think they were? Or how funny are they in general? Come on, contestants, Joy Marugi, Edwin Kajuki, Ian Boogie, Fidel Owiti, and Yahe will continue to do online. Yeah, I love you had Nelson Rodita, one of my favorite leaders. And I like what you say that. I love the fact that not time over. The great part is not things who do not be of the one not to applaud you for taking up the courage and actually delivering our humor. So I love that's all we have. Jackie, here is the first time to come up. Oh, my God. You say you very common. Yeah? What is your favorite? Up to you.
I can't hear.
Oh, sorry, I'll start home. So home is the Masai. I am an understand for those who are working.
Please speak near the microphone.
Locally is the Masai Mara because it's in nature, it has animals, and I love nature, and I feel at peace and grounded when I'm in greenery. Yeah, so that's Masai Mara.
Madam Contester, kindly use the speaker.
Okay, can you hear me?
When you come to the stage, yes.
Okay, you have to bear with us if you don't have a physical microphone. We wish you were in person, not having you. You just have to bear with us. So, Eric, you say that the Egyptian pyramid inspired you. Why? I don't get it. Tell me why. Tell us why.
Okay, the Egyptian pyramids inspire me because they are a marvel of engineering by Africans in Africa. And many people ask, how were they actually put together? Because the machines that would have put those together did not exist then, or so we think. So because of that mystery and just the ingenuity of it, that it's in Africa, they are one of my top inspirations.
And maybe a patriarchal you know, men not in the play to practice or learn.
Yes.
So when you consider yourself, when you've gone out there and won something, what is your goal meal?
I have this recipe I came up with. It's I take some pork ribs. I have a dry marination, some sugar, chili, and salt. Just that. Dry rub, put it in the oven, 180 degrees, 5 minutes. Done it, 180 5 minutes. And then on the side, that is how we make our marination. So go to Ombachi's page, you know, roaming chef. You go to Ombachi's page, there's a marination, different type of marination. Pick the one that is your best. So for me, it's a pineapple. So after the 45 each side, just apply some marination on top, 15 minutes each side. You go try it out and then come tell me how it is.
Fidel, you see that one of the things that Fidel is doing is reading. Really travel to what book read that your mindset?
The first book that I ever read was immediately I left high school. That was way back in 2018. This book called How to Win Friends and Influence People by Dale Carnegie. That was a great book. It changed how I treat people, how I behave in presence of other people. And it also piqued my curiosity to become a better connector, a better networker, and a better individual. Yes. Toastmasters, I would recommend, because Toastmasters is about public speaking. One book that has really impacted my public speaking is called, still by the same author, is called The Art of Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie. Yes.
But he has been recommended to us. Thank you very much. Yahya, come in here. Yahya Ibrahim would like to know you a little bit.
The network is poor now. I don't know. I could not follow you.
Okay, I just have this one question for you that perhaps you can engage us with. What was your why for joining
was breaking, please.
Kindly move to the center.
Come again.
You have to
Mawia.
I'm saying you have to speak from there to here.
All right. So Yahya, what I'm asking is, why did you join Toastmasters?
Oh, now you are very clear. So thanks. So why I joined the Toastmasters is to improve my public speaking skills. That's an area I felt I'm lacking. And actually, it was one of my supervisor, I think last year, who said I'm good in all aspects. However, I need to improve my speaking skills so that Toastmasters. Then one of my colleagues linked me up with Baskilia. Then that's how I ended up joining the group. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Ibrahim. Chief Judge, are we all set? Fantastic. Another round of applause for the Chief Judge. Fellow Toastmasters, contestants, and guests, the moment has arrived to announce the results. I can't believe how fast this evening has gone. I don't know how the contestants feel, because when you enter a room and you're contesting, I don't know about you, but for me, it was a lot of pressure when I was a contestant about 4 years ago. The anxiety, the nerves, but you've done it. It's done. And now it's time for us to get to hear the results. Chief Judge, I have not received the results, but I would like to receive them. And kindly, if you may confirm, did we use a tie-breaking judge? Make sure people don't see. We want it to be there has to be some element of surprise. Thank you so much. Always so good to be the one who knows the results and the contestants don't know what it is. But I have to say, congratulations for participating and enthralling us with your participation, your wonderful speeches. The Chief Judge confirms that there are no disqualifications on the grounds of time, and we have not used our tiebreaker judge. So I'll start with the evaluation contest. In third place, I need to tell you a story of the realized are so uncultured. Can I tell you, or do you want to, should I announce or should I tell you? Okay. Third place evaluation contest. Ian Boogie. Round of applause. All right. And in second place, about that story. I literally grew up in a country in my adulting years. People used to get into a matatu and greet each other. Kendi came to Kenya. Second place, I'll tell you. I'll continue with the story. Fidel Owiti. It is a no-brainer that our first winner for the evaluation contest is Pascalia Mainge. A round of and our president Pascalia has Pascalia, yes. Congratulations. We will have our first and second place winners representing Kwanza, Kenya at the area level, and the date will be communicated by Mawia Kishuri, who's our Vice President Education. Humorous contest. Third place. Del Okwiti. Second place in our humorous speech contest. Drum roll. Keep going. Eddie Taduki. So now this is the place where I get to actually finish the story before I tell you how to won the humorous speech contest. After 6.5 years of getting into a matatu and saying hello to people, Sambonani, they respond with such enthusiasm, Yebo, Dumelang, Ahe, Ashe. I got into a matatu after I came back home. And I tried saying hello to people in the matatu. Kenyans are rude. I got in and I said, Habari zenu. Can you believe the audacity? No one responded. They just looked at me, oh my goodness. Are you a thief? Are you hokey? Is that something you're selling? But then that takes me to the first place winner of our contest. The humorous speech, someone who has made a laugh, who will carry a Kwanza Kenya flag to the area level. And I'm hoping that he'll keep going until we see him at the district level. Drum roll. So about that story again. All right. Ian Boogie. I promised you when we start, this will be exciting, enthralling, and then it will not have been possible, right? Not for the contestants taking up a role, actually choosing to deliver, compete against each other. But more so, the other role takers who have participated and made this contest a success. I would like to say thank you to our ballot counters, our chief judge, our anonymous judges, our timer, who else? SAA, our online SAA, Mawia, our timer also, Angela. Thank you very much for taking up the roles and ensuring that the contest was successful. Have you enjoyed yourselves? I like it. Audience, it will not have been as expected without you coming here. Because when we deliver our speeches, we want to see people who are cheering us on. So thank you so much for coming, our guests and also Toastmasters. With that being said, I'd like to hand over the meeting back to the President, Pascalia Mainge.
I have no words. Was this a beautiful meeting, an exhilarating meeting, a very enthralling meeting? Was it? Well, I've got to hear that from you. Let's give it up. So we're running out of time and you'll bear us a few minutes, with us for a few minutes. I'd like to first of all say thank you very much for Kendi Mwabile. Let's give her a round of applause. The chief judge and his team, Anthony and your team, we are grateful for support and for everything you've done. Toastmaster Kendi has already given a round of applause to every person that took part, every role taker, and all, just to echo her words, thank you very much for your participation, for volunteering, and for learning through the various roles that you took up. Okay, to all the winners, thank you so much for feeling the fear and still throwing in the cup throwing in the cup and saying, I can do this. You are a go-getter, and you've gone out there and you're going to represent Kwanza Kenya Toastmasters, and we have no doubt whatsoever, we are the leaders, and we're going to take it all the way to the divisions. So a round of applause to all the winners of the day. Once again, I'd like to say thank you very much to all the guests who have joined us. That is Angelina, Rita, Stephen, and those who came in after we had started. Thank you for making it possible for us to be able to have an audience that could support us and encourage us. I'd also want to say thank you very much to the visiting Toastmasters. Veronica, we want to make you part of Kwanza Kenya because you really are a great support for Kwanza. To every one of us for making this possible to happen, thank you very much. And because we have gone way past the time, I just want to say thank you once again and invite you to our next meeting on the 14th of November. A physical meeting will be right here representing Kwanza Kenya and asking you to back us up as we prepare to move on to the area competitions. Thank you once again for coming in. I wish to now adjourn this meeting. Meeting is adjourned. Thank you for coming.